Hi, I hope this will work. I'm doing the both of them again. This is going to be I might have to do this in two parts because I know I'm, excuse me, I know I'm in two, my break is not that long. Anyway, this one is called Ancestors in the Spiritual Realm. And the reason why I've come with this is because I've had a good amount recently. I've had a good amount of experiences with spirits and the ancestral realm and all this good stuff. Okay, it's been amazing. I ain't even gonna lie. It's been fascinating, but I feel that there's a lot of conversations that we have to have in this space and time. You know, we understand who the ancestors are. We all have them. That's one thing we all have in common, regardless of who we are, where we are. If we're born in this realm, we have ancestors. But we gotta have a conversation about elevated ancestors and what does that mean, and how do you get elevated ancestors, and where does that come from? Okay, so the reason why I'm going on this spot is because I realize that so many. Okay, not a religious person, but I'm going to go into that realm. Because of religion has got a lot of people feeling that, when you die or when you pass over, that there's either nothing there or there's this hell or there's something, okay? But you got to understand, whatever exists in the spiritual realm, whatever exists in the physical realm, should I say, exists in the spiritual realm, first and foremost. So we have to get out of the concept of understanding that, if you die, you go into this horrible place and this, that, and the other. Got to understand that there's a realm that exists, whether we understand it or not. And depending on what you do in life or how your energy is in life will determine how you will ascend in your passing. So, and this is the reason why I'm saying this is because we've come across a lot of, a friend and I have come across a lot of spirits or people that have passed over. And we're talking about some that don't even realize, okay, we came across a couple of Caucasians that still think that they own spirits, own slaves, okay? But we've been able to have conversations with them in order for them to understand where they are and that they have to go to the light. And the reason why I'm saying we have to have this conversation is because if you don't understand what you do here has an effect on what goes on in there, how are you going to have your ancestors support you and guide you and work with you? That's what all this is about. The realms of spirit and life and death is so intertwined. It's this one whole complete, the universe is one big thing, okay? So for you to separate one from the other, to act like it doesn't exist, does you such an injustice. It does your people such an injustice. It's almost like we have to have conversations now to say, you know what? We all gonna pass away, period, end. We all are. But understand, if there is a light there that you're supposed to pass through, which we feel that is like the cleansing of your earthly energies or earthly bound or earthly things that have plagued you on this earth. You go through that light. You go through that light to shed that in order for you to start to ascend and move on your journey. People have to understand that. If you don't know that now, by the time you get to the other side, this is where you get all these disembodied souls, or you get these spirits that don't have anywhere to go, or these spirits that just want to plague the earth and want to mess up people's worlds because they don't realize that there's a journey that they're meant to go on. Now, I'm saying having this conversation now because, like I said, we are all going there one time or another. So me understanding that my ancestors, me honoring my ancestors, you see, African spirituality, we understood that the spiritual realm and the physical realm was so intertwined that we didn't do anything without the ancestors' support, the ancestors' guidance. It's almost like when we have a big thing that we want to do, yes, we ask Ifa, but we also ask our ancestors because they're the ones who are supporting us and guiding us through whatever we got to do. So we get that. We understand that. Yet there are people in this world, and this is why I'm going back to the, everybody has ancestors, but you have to understand it from I'm sorry if this light is, the sun. You have to understand that a lot of people, and when, like I said, I'd been around these Caucasians that still thought they owned slaves in this day. Now, bear in mind now, they passed away over 200 years ago, these particular spirits. But having this conversation, they understood that they needed to pass through this light. So I'm saying that now I get to understand why you have so many people in this realm that, one, don't have no clue about ancestors, two, don't have the support of their ancestors, because they don't know how to venerate them. They don't know how to support them. They don't know how to interact with that space. So without that connection, this space suffers. We suffer. They suffer. So like I said, this is a conversation that needs to be talked about. This conversation about, a lot of people was raised in Christianity. I don't know what's being said because I can't see with my glasses and stuff, but you got a lot of people that are raised in Christianity or any religion that feels that there's no afterlife, or there's no nobody's ever come back. But we have to remember, whatever exists here exists there first. So whatever we've manifested here, manifested there first. Okay, so whatever we can think about, if we can think it, it exists. Whether we can see it, but we can think it exists somewhere. So that's what I'm saying. In that realm, the spiritual realm and the physical realm is so intertwined that if you want to understand a race of people, look at how they are with their ancestors. If you want to understand how much a people want to love, I can tell you, my thing is about love, point, period, dot, and I will always talk about love, because that energy is of the universe. The universe is made up of that. So in the spiritual realm, that is the energy of love. This physical realm, that is the energy of love. So the ancestors that support us in this realm in this physical realm, doing what they do. I could tell you stories of how the ancestors come through with whether it's financial support, whether it's exposing stuff, you know what I mean? Because remember, spirits are petty. They'll watch everything and then go tell somebody else who's ready to listen what you're doing. So don't think secrets won't be exposed, because this is what they do. Asians venerate their ancestors. Yes, there's a lot of people, but you see the way people are when they venerate their ancestors. And that's what I'm saying. You have to watch and observe a section of people. Like I said, this particular energy, and I'm not just saying that all Caucasians don't, but look at the way the world is right now and look at what they're doing, okay? To everybody, almost like, they're getting their stuff now. They want their stuff now. They ain't trying to think about the afterlife. They ain't trying to think about what they could do to support their ancestors, or none of that. Okay? And I understand, because without information, without knowledge, without wisdom, or without that connection, nobody understands that. But there's too many of us now that know our ancestors are very, very important. Our ancestors do so much for us. They are always there. They are always around in one way or another. They're coming through into this realm by having babies. There's so much. But if we don't have the conversations now, when people are ready to pass over, they're not going to realize that light is something that they need to go through. Because many of them that don't go through that space are the same ones that are causing havoc here, or don't have any connection to their ancestors. Like I've said before, I've been to many mesas, right, where spirits have come through and talking about, they've still got the pains in their backsides, and they've still got these kind of pains and these kind of ailments. When you go through the light, you're not meant to be feeling those physical things like you still have a body. That doesn't make any sense. Your soul, your spirit is eternal. So there is something that you're supposed to pass through in order for you to be able to ascend and do other things. But if you don't have these conversations now, we're going to have more of the same kind of energy not assisting us on the other side. Like I said, in African spirituality, we already knew ancestor veneration was like first and foremost, our people was buried in our houses or in our yards or in the family thing. There was no, there was no such thing as a cemetery where you'd have to go somewhere else to go see your people. You know what I mean? So that part was like the spirits and the spirits and the living was very, very intertwined. And that's what we got to get back to. We got to get back to that, or to make it known even more. I think that religious space kept people from going within, kept people from understanding who you are, kept people from understanding who you are as a spirit, as a soul, connected to the spiritual realm. Whether you're alive, whether you're still connected. You know what I mean? There's a connection that will never be broken, because, as we say, as above, so below, what is there? We are here. We're all one, having a different experience in this life. And that's what it is. We are all one energy, having an experience in this physical life, hoping that we don't forget, or we don't get caught up in that space of separation, which is what most of us do. But anyway, like I said, we have to talk more about that so it's understood, because I hope this is not going in and out. But anyway, so it's understood that the spiritual realm and the physical realm are like this. You can't have one without the other. And so with the ancestor, knowing that the ancestors are there to support you, then what we do here will support them. It's like a two-way street, you know what I mean? You can't do one without the other. And without that connection, you have the mistakes or the mishaps or the problems that we're having now, not realizing that the ancestors have to support us, because they do, with this thing. Like a friend of mine, me and my friend, should I say, I didn't think I'd be doing this. Yes, I am an ancestor priest, but I didn't think I'd be having that much connecting with other spirits and others' ancestors, and assisting them in the moving on from that space. Because the way that they showed me was like, when people pass over, they have it in a space where they're in a house. They can look outside the house and see all of the life going on, to see all the people walking around and stuff, but they can't connect. There's no connection. They can't get out the house to intertwine, and they can't get their attention. But then you got some people that are able to connect and talk and see spirits, and so they will be pointing in on that. That's a lot of the places where you get the the mental illnesses, that the schizophrenia, or people have mental problems in regards to seeing all these different spirits and not being able to understand it, or not being able to communicate what they're feeling, because they're hearing too many things, because they're susceptible to that space. Now, if that energy is not blocked off, if that energy is not blocked off, we'd all be able to do that. And we'd all understand that the physical realm and the spiritual realm is so intertwined that I'm sorry, I'm holding that so close to my face. We'll understand that the spiritual realm and the physical realm is so intertwined that, this is how we live. This is how we support each other's world. They are, there's not one without the other. You can't have one without the other. As above, so below. But because we're not taught this stuff, this is why you get all the issues that we're having today. And all these spirits, all these people that are passing over. And there's a lot of them that's going now. And you have to remember, if they don't even have a inkling in their mind that they're supposed to go to somewhere else, or go through like I said, a light or something, in order to pass through and move on, they get stuck. And when you have spirits that are stuck, yeah, they may be able to assist, but there's more that they're supposed to do. That's why, like I said, dealing with spirits that are over 200 years old and they're still here. But luckily, those two people, and that was a kind of a, my friend was like, they thought that they owned her family. So she was like, do I really want to let them go, to send them to the light? And I said, well, everybody that was born and passes has the right to go to the light, because that's where the illumination is. That's where they understand the truth of all things. You know what I mean? And that's basically our journey. You know what I mean? What we don't learn in life, we're going to learn in death. And that's what a lot of them understand now. But if they had this information before they passed, the transition or the movement going on wouldn't be so difficult, and would have more support in the ancestral realm. There's certain, I know they say with Veterans Day. Is it Veterans Day? Not Veterans Day. Is it Memorial Day? Memorial Day. That's how they got people worshipping their people, because you feed into that energy. But at the same time, if the understanding of what that realm is all about is not spoke about and understood, then it's not doing nothing. The same way we give offerings to our ancestors, the same way that we give prayers and give light to elevate them, for those that have passed away through, unsavory means, or, that just need elevating, the same way we do that here, their support, that elevating them gives them chance to support us even more on this side. Because like I said, there's not one space without the other. It doesn't exist. So understanding that space, we need to talk about it. We need for all of our families to know, all people to know that, when it's time to leave here, don't stay stuck. Don't be so fixed on this world that you forget that you've got other places to move on to. Because it's in that freedom that you're able to do and come and go and do more. And I'm saying this because this is what's happening. I swear, I put my hand up, right hand to Olodumare. We've had spirits that have gone to the light, come back, and then they're now looking for other spirits or Egons, ancestors that are trapped, and say, "Come, we're gonna help you get free." And this is what they're doing. So this is amazing. But I'm realizing that so many people don't even understand that, and so they get stuck in the void, exactly, because they don't understand that there is another journey that they're supposed to go. If you've got so much traditional religions, I should say religion, because it's not traditions, it's religion, that is telling you that there's no afterlife, there is no, that if you don't do right here, you're going to hell. If you've got that, remember now, like I said, everything that exists here already exists there. So if you've got a whole bunch of messed up stuff here, that stuff started somewhere else. It started in the spiritual realm before it manifested here. But there's wisdom, there's knowledge that goes along with all of that we have to understand in order to assist each other. Because remember, as we got physical bodies, we still have a spirit, we still have a soul, and that spirit and soul is connected to all that is. So whether you have a physical body or not, there is an element of you that is connected to all that is. And that's what we have to understand a lot better. That yes, we do things in this life to, to learn, to grow, to elevate, to have children, to keep this world going. But at the same time, we have a duty to our own spirit, to our own innate, the own God within us, to connect us back to source at all times. And that goes with this having conversations, this having these conversations about spirits and what we're meant to do when we pass over. Please don't forget, what goes on there goes on here. If we have to do Eba, if we have to do divination here, we have to do there's divination done there. It is the same. It's just there's more wisdom from that realm, because that's where everything starts. The plethora of knowledge, the vast amount of factual information, the vast amount of miracles starts there. We just have to be in tune in order to allow it to manifest here. So I don't even know what the time is. Shoot. Well, hopefully I got a little bit of time. But anyway, like I said, we have to talk about this. We have to talk about the ancestors and the realms and our connection and what we do with this connection while we're here, in order to be able to assist when we get there, and for them to assist us here. And for those that are traveling that road now, for them to understand, you're not meant to stay stuck. You're meant to travel. You're meant to go to a light. If there is a light, you've heard people that say that there's been a light, they've seen a light, blah, 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 there's light. It exists. There is a light. Spirits have spoken about there is a light, okay? So we have to speak to people now and say, you know what? There is a light and you must go there. Do not be afraid of it. Because there's spirits that have been there for hundreds and hundreds of years and saying, oh, they've seen people go into that light and they say that's death for them. And that's their fear. It's death for them, like their spirit won't exist if they go to that light. That's when you're so physical that you have no concept of your soul being eternal. And like I said, this is a conversation that we have to have in life. So going into the next realm, you're more equipped to be able to do that. But I'm going to leave it there because I don't even know how long I've got. But anyway, ancestors, the spiritual realm, and what we do with it. Because there's a lot that have no clue about what they're doing and how stuck they are and what their thought process is. Like I said, that light, when it cleanses you, it gives you a whole new meaning for what you come here for. You know what I mean? Or a whole new meaning of what life is and the truth of what you've done. Whether you've done good, bad, or indifferent, you have an opportunity to cleanse that in order to do something else. Whether you reincarnate here or assist those that are here. But you have to understand that before you go. So at least when you go in there. And I know this sounds like, oh, we're going on a trip. I remember my father said, you know, my uncle, before he passed, he said, my dad said that, you know, he feels like he's going on a journey. And that's what it felt like. He was just going on a journey. Now, if I was to tell you the amount of times that my dad's been present in my world, in my life, and instrumental in exposing, explaining, and healing and doing stuff in my world, you'll be like, yo, my people are surrounding me continuously. You know what I mean? And I'm so thankful for that. But that's because I've done the work here. I've done the airbods. I've done the most to support my people. And that's what they need. But anyway, I'm going to leave it there because, like I said, I'm on my lunch break. And hopefully I ain't gone on too long. But yeah, ancestral veneration, the spiritual realm, this physical realm, the understanding of all of that. We have to talk about it. We have to talk to each other about it. We have to talk about, you know, religion and what that religious concept is doing to our people. And I'm talking about all people. And I keep saying love is the key because love has the wisdom of everything. It is the love that I have that I do what I do. It's not because, you know, yeah, I have my own fears and stuff, but it's the love that I have that I want to, what comes to me, I want to be able to give it out for people to understand so they can take that little seed and think, well, that makes sense. Hey, let's see if I can move on with that. So love is the key. Love is always going to be the key. Love and unity will always be the key. That's how we're going to change this world. Remember, how do we change the vibration of this planet with love? Is each one teach one, each one learn about one, each one learn stuff that the other one doesn't know and teach it to others. So we can all get to the understanding. Because this is not, as I said, that one thing that we all have in common is ancestors. Black, white, Indian, Chinese, wherever you're from, you all have ancestors. So that means that everybody lives, everybody's born, and everybody dies. So that whole stuff, we all go through it. And if we all go through it, there's something that we can't escape. And that's the wisdom of going through those realms. But we have to understand that here. So going through those realms, everybody else can do it. But anyway, I'm gone again because I don't even know if I've overstepped my time. All right. Love you. I love me too. And I'll talk to you again. All right. All right. Take care.